They selected 14 and then each month they let 2 go. Sounds like a reality show. You had to be ready for anything. It was winter. We were running 10 kilometers cross-country routes every other day. Criminals run and we have to catch them fast. Happy with that? I rushed a bit, jerked the trigger, but those shots were solid. And what about your own safety? Where does that stand for you? We work side by side with the men. That's just the kind of unit we are. Rapid Response Unit, alert. Tatyana Dolbysheva is a police captain, a member of the Special Rapid Response Unit, and one of 8 women who represented Kazakhstan this year at the International Special Forces Championship in Dubai as part of Team Tomiris. Tatyana transitioned into police forces from a career in professional speed skating. Today, she not only runs fast, she also shoots with precision and is highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Tatyana, hello. I have to say that was incredibly impressive. We're here in Petropavl to meet you, one of the 8 members of Tomiris, a team that had a remarkable performance at the SWAT Challenge in Dubai. Like I said, it's basically the Olympics for special forces units. But also we wanted to meet the woman for whom this kind of intense training is just another part of the job. What exactly were we watching just now? That was a tactical drill, an operation to detain suspects based on intelligence. Since there was a female suspect involved, I was the one who responded. I'd love to know what your day-to-day life looks like as part of the Special Forces. And of course I want to hear all about your experience in Dubai. Let's dive into that today. From what we managed to find on YouTube, there's a clip of you running into a building and shooting. Yes, I was assigned as a sniper. Tell us about your first challenge. Is that the term? Not mission, but challenge. That's right. So what did that challenge involve? I worked as a sniper, specifically on the second day of the competition, and I had one of the tougher tasks. The whole team had to wait for me while I responded to the timer signal. At that moment, I had to sprint up to the 5th floor as fast as possible, then load my rifle, insert the magazine, chamber a round, and then aim through a small window to find and shoot a tiny target. A plate.
Окошечко маленькое. Нужно было ставить ствол, найти мишень, тарелочку и выстрелить. Это работало с 5-го этажа.
Wait, you had to hit a small plate from the 5th floor? Exactly, and I only had one shot, just one bullet. If I missed, our team would get a 30-second penalty.
30 секунд.
Judging by the reaction we hear in the video, it sounds like you nailed it. I did, yes. How big was the plate, just to get a sense? Around 10 to 12 maybe. Wow, yeah, it's small, and shooting from that height from the 5th or 7th floor makes the 60-meter distance feel more like 150. And I imagine running up 5 flights of stairs completely throws off your breathing. Definitely, your heart's racing. And we arrived 5 days before the event, but we weren't allowed to practice with our weapons. I couldn't even walk up to the 5th floor with my rifle or test the window view to locate the target in advance. So there were no rehearsals at all. When the timer went off, I just ran. I had a general idea where the plate was from seeing it on the ground during the walkthrough, but looking through a scope from 5 floors up is a whole different story. So when you finally reached the top, you had to calm your breathing before aiming. I noticed in the video you're lying there completely still for a moment, like you're doing nothing. What's actually happening in that moment? There are little tricks everyone has. For me, the moment I ran up and pulled out my rifle, even as I was entering the room, I was already focusing on slowing my breathing. I had to bring my heart rate down as much as possible, because hitting the target required total control. I guess if you're still breathing heavily, there's no way you can shoot accurately. Exactly, if you're panting after a sprint, there is no chance you'll hit anything. How much does the rifle weigh? Mine was about 6 kilos. And after you take the shot, your teammates take off. Yes, once I hit the target, the rest of the team starts running. They're all waiting for me. So I had to find that tiny plate fast and shoot. That's a lot of pressure. How did that feel? What were you telling yourself before the start? I just kept telling myself, I need to sprint up there fast, I need to find the plate quickly, and I have to hit it. There was so much riding on that moment. My entire team was counting on me, and I knew people back home were watching too. That gave me a huge inner push. Have you always had that kind of mental toughness, or did it develop once you joined the police force? I think it's something that built up over time. I spent 14 years in high-level sports, training twice a day, every day. I'm a master of sports of international class in speed skating. After all those years, I think I developed a kind of mental immunity, a way to get in the zone before a start. For those of us who are completely outside this world, what you did seems almost impossible. But among your competitors, people from other special forces units, how many of the women missed the shot? Oh, there were definitely women who missed. And what's crazy is, in Dubai, they have their own training base. They can practice that same course every day, run up the stairs, aim at that target over and over. But even with all that, one of their snipers, a woman, still missed the disc. You mentioned arriving 5 days before the competition. Were those days meant for preparation, or had you already been training back home? Oh, of course, we started training well before that, back in Astana, at the S training base. We practiced obstacle courses, shooting, and went out to the training grounds whenever the weather allowed. How important was coordination and mutual understanding in all this? Because obviously some tasks are individual, but in other moments, you're working closely as a team. And I assume there's no time to discuss who's grabbing which limb of mannequin, right? Exactly. Every woman had a specific task. We practiced everything down to a science, tactically as a team. So during the challenge, we just followed what we'd drilled over and over in training. Everyone knew their role. Now, that sniper challenge wasn't your only task. There were 5 in total. But your commander told me the toughest one was the last, something that demanded almost superhuman physical endurance. Even involved moving underwater at some point. How hard was that one for you personally? It was rough. One of the hardest parts was a really tall wall. Even some of the men were struggling to get over it. And if you failed even one obstacle, you were out. I think it was the force of Fifth Element, this giant wall you had to scale using each other for support. One by one we had to climb up like that. And all of our girls made it over, every single one of them. That's incredible. Then there was this thing called the drum, another brutal element. By that point, you've already been through 7 obstacles, your arms are shaking, your heart's pounding, and you're trying to move fast. And then comes this massive net before the drum, really tall. Your arms are already dead by the time you reach it, and you have to climb across it like monkey bars, but the whole thing spins. It's incredibly tough. That sounds intense, and just to be clear, women and men faced the exact same course. That's right, same conditions for everyone, women and men alike. We did the full version, no exceptions.
на одном уровне.
In which countries did we proudly outperform? I'd love to know who we beat.
Очень интересно.
Our women's team outperformed Dubai. And your team had 8 women.
Всего 8 девушек.
Yes, 8 women total, from all across Kazakhstan. So how were you selected for the team?
Попали.
The first day of selection was at the shooting range, and the second day was an obstacle course.
Второй день это у нас была полоса препятствий.
То есть на первом
So there were more than 8 of you at first.
полагать.
At the beginning, there were 40 women competing. After the 2 days, they selected 14, and then each month they let 2 go.
Две девушки убирали.
Sounds like a reality show. Pretty much. You never know, someone might come along who shoots better. The goal was to take only the first best. And how long did this whole preparation process last? 3.5 months. Wow, so the fact that you made it all the way and earned a spot on the final 8-woman Tomiris team, that means you really wanted it, didn't you?
Вы очень хотели войти в состав?
Absolutely. Why? I came there with a purpose. I told myself I didn't come here for nothing. I had my own motivation. I was determined to see it through to the end, no matter what. Like, I'm already here, I'm finishing this. Exactly. And when they narrowed it down to 14 women, I felt deep inside that I had to push through.
2 месяца также.
Another 2 months went by, and even then we kept hearing that our spots weren't guaranteed. We had to keep training, keep improving, shoot better. I decided to take on the sniper role because I'm stronger with a carbine. I'm actually the national champion in Kazakhstan in carbine shooting.
И как-то
That's where my heart is, rifles and carbines.
карабин.
Но
But even so, physical training was still required for everyone, right?
всем, вне зависимости от того,
Sniper or not. Yes, absolutely. You had to be ready for anything.
Быть готовым ко всему.
What did you feel when they finally said, we're going? Relief. But also, I felt the weight of even more responsibility.
С другой стороны, что нужно, опять же, что еще больше ответственности на мне.
Did you call Petropavl right away?
Или сразу, как узнали?
Of course, I called my commander right away and texted him, that's it, I passed, I'm going to the competition. And your family? My husband was the first person I called. I was so happy, but also a bit emotional. I was leaving him alone with our child for almost 4 months, including the trip itself.
Да, получается, вместе с выездом.
So normally, after you shoot, you go check the target, right? Yep, target inspection.
Смотр мишени.
Досмотр мишени. Так.
And what did we get this time? A 10 and a 9.
Девяточка.
Happy with that? I rushed a bit, jerked the trigger, but those shots were solid. We noticed marks on the shooting range walls too. Looks like not everyone hits the target. Yep, a 10 is perfect, a 9 is still solid, but when you're hitting 8s and 7s, that's already considered unsatisfactory. That's impressive. But tell me, today for example, you casually hit 3 perfect 10s and 1 9. Does it always go that smoothly? Are there times when it doesn't? And why would that happen?
Зависит.
It can depend on a lot of things. Your grip, how you're holding the weapon, how you're aiming.
Дергаешь, ты не дергаешь. Бывает, что человек
Sometimes people anticipate the shot and flinch too early.
раньше времени получается.
And what about you personally? Has it been a while since you hit anything less than a 9? During those 3.5 months in Astana while training for the World Special Forces Championship, I really leveled up my shooting. My accuracy got significantly better. What made the difference? Was the training especially intense? Definitely. We had an instructor working with us every day. We did live fire drills and a lot of dry fire practice. That's what helped most. So in a way, preparing for the competition actually improved your current job performance too. For sure, I gained so much experience from that whole process. So how long has it been since the competition now? And since then, still nothing lower than a 9? Nope, nothing below a 9. Wow, now as I understand it, the women's unit in the Special Rapid Response Squad here in the North Kazakhstan region only started in 2021. 3 amazing women, including yourself.
Вы тут появляетесь, и каким
So when you joined, how did your physical training go?
первичная физическая подготовка наряду с
I mean, your commander had only worked with men before,
с мужчинами, и вот
and now there were women on the team.
происходила вот эта вот именно физическая подготовка.
What was that transition like?
На первых этапах.
I remember the very beginning clearly. It was winter. We officially joined on January the 5th, 2021, and right from the start we were running 10 kilometers cross-country routes every other day.
День по 10 километров.
In winter. In Petropavl, yes, in the park, and we had other workouts too.
Ну и дополнительно также занимались.
Didn't you feel like quitting? Like, what am I doing here? I should have just become a coach or something.
Тренеры.
Actually, I knew what I was signing up for, even back when I was taking my physical assessments at the end of 2020. It was winter, freezing cold, and I remember standing on the Vinokurov stadium where my commander was testing me. I was still on maternity leave at the time. My child was only 1 year and 8 months old. It wasn't easy, of course. But as I was running, I kept telling myself, I know why I'm here. I know what I came for, and I have to push through till the end. And when we officially joined the force in 2021, we had to run those 10 kilometers in winter.
На работу в 2021 году. Также эти 10 километров зимой нужно было терпеть до конца.
Physical fitness is a must for anyone in the Special Rapid Response Unit, and as far as I know, your daily routine includes several hours of training. Is that right? So you basically come to work and start working out. Actually, we're not far from the Special Rapid Response Unit's base right now, and this is the very stadium where I imagine you spend a good part of your workday training.
Где вы проводите, собственно, наверное, каждый свой рабочий день в том числе.
Yes, exactly. Our schedule is structured. If we're not assigned to a deployment or a special duty, we're training. We run, sometimes sprints, sometimes long-distance runs, anyway from 8 to 10 kilometers. Running is a must. I mean, you get it when you're chasing a suspect.
8-10 километров. Но это бег, это обязательно. Потому что, сами понимаете, задержание нужно.
You've got to catch them. Right, you've got to be fast, so we stay in shape. We do strength training too. Barbells, upper body, back, a full set of exercises.
Делаем, поднимаем ручки, спинку качаем. В общем, общий комплекс упражнений различные.
Sports have been a part of your life for a long time. It's true, isn't it, that you were a world record holder in speed skating?
Бежному спорту это
And that was the sport you chose when you were still just a child.
выбрали, будучи, еще ребенком.
Yes, that's right. I was a professional speed skater for 14 years.
Вот.
I became a master of sport of international class in my final year of high school.
Рекорд мира.
I even set a world record and won silver and bronze medals at the World Cup.
Я заняла
I'm also a multiple-time national champion of Kazakhstan.
чемпионка Казахстана.
But you're originally from the Akkayan district in the North Kazakhstan region, not even from Petropavl. So that's where you first got into speed skating. That seems surprising. Surely there weren't a lot of resources or facilities for that sport.
Как так случилось?
Где я
I went to school in a village called Cherkassk, where my parents still live.
до сих пор там живут. Папа не
My dad doesn't want to move. He's older now, spent his whole life there, and he doesn't see himself living in a city.
Вот. Там у нас построили коробку.
At some point, a small hockey rink was built in the village. My dad and my brother used to play hockey,
Поставили меня на коньки
so they put me on skates, size 43.
этого размера.
Wait, your dad skates? Yes, at first I didn't want to wear them,
Но потом, когда
but then I tried skating, felt that smooth glide across the ice, and that feeling hooked me.
на льду. И все, я узнала, что
After that, I found out there was a sports school in Petropavl.
начала маме с папой папа.
I begged my parents, please let me go, let me join the speed skating section.
Бежного спорта. Они меня не отпускали.
But I was still a little kid in the 4th grade, so they said no. I kept begging for years, cried my way through it.
Меня. Все, собрались, ладно.
Finally, by the end of the 7th grade, they gave in and let me go. So I moved to the city on my own. It was hard. I missed my parents a lot, especially in the beginning.
Приезжала домой.
I used to go home every weekend and even thought about quitting because I didn't have any family around. I was still a kid.
рядом. И хотелось сильно домой.
But then, in the 8th grade, I went to my first real competition at the Medeu rink in Almaty.
Соревнования прошли.
I qualified as a candidate for Master of Sport there, after just a year of training. That's amazing. Yeah, and that first taste of victory, it stuck with me. That's what kept me in big league sports. Now, to join the Special Rapid Response Unit, you also need hand-to-hand combat skills. And I know you've got them too. We actually spoke to a few of your colleagues. Some are into boxing, others do taekwondo or jiu-jitsu. It seems like everyone in the Special Rapid Response Unit has some kind of combat training. It's mandatory. But you, this delicate woman with a speed skating background, how did martial arts come into the picture? I actually started Taekwondo just for myself, recreationally. I trained for 3 months and even earned 3rd-class rank at a regional competition. But speed skating was always closer to my heart, so that's where I kept focusing. Do you still practice hand-to-hand combat as part of your current training? Absolutely, yes. So, sparring. Yes, we do sparring drills. With women or men? With men. No way. And tell me, when you're training alongside male colleagues, do you ever allow yourself to take it a bit easier? Maybe go a little slower, lift a little less? Honestly, I just listen to my body. If I feel completely drained, I'll slow the pace a bit or lower the weight. But most of the time, I train at the same level as everyone else. Earlier, we talked about your amazing team, the women who represented Kazakhstan in Dubai. Who are these women? Who are the ones now serving in our police force and more specifically in the Special Rapid Response Unit? Are they all athletes? Absolutely. Every one of them is an athlete, and most of them have competitive rankings in combat sports. They all come from different cities. Did you ever imagine yourself working in police forces? Actually, yes. From a very young age, I dreamed of wearing a uniform, being part of the law enforcement system. I remember watching them as a kid and thinking, how beautiful, I want that too. But not as an investigator, right? You wanted to be in special forces. Right, I always loved the special forces uniform, that look. Dreams really do come true. And what do you feel in the moment when you're facing a suspect, someone accused of a crime? You obviously have a clear job to do, clear tasks, but what about the emotions? Because I imagine that more often than not, people try to resist you, don't they? When I see a woman in that position, I always ask myself, why are you doing this? For what? And the hardest part is seeing children. That's the part that hits you the most. The kids. Do people ever resist? Have you been in situations where suspects put up serious resistance? Yes, definitely. Last January, we went on an arrest operation with UTV. We were detaining 2 women, both involved in drug distribution. One of them tried to break free. I had to restrain her with a male officer. It took both of us to get her under control. She was really fighting back. And what about your own safety? Where does that stand for you? We've talked about the fact that you're also a mother and a wife. Every time you go to work, you're essentially putting yourself at risk. Well, this is what I've been trained for. I'm a specialist in my field. I know when and how to use force, when to draw a weapon, and what techniques are permitted. I follow the law first and foremost. Now that it's all behind you, your first time competing at such a high level and you took 2nd place, what are you feeling now? And how often do you find yourself thinking back to that intense but probably unforgettable moment? Maybe even a celebration in your life. There is a sense of relief, honestly. The competition is over and I'm back with my family. But I also feel proud, so proud of what we achieved as a team. We worked so well together and taking second place, I think that's incredible. Let's go back for a moment. We just saw some of your colleagues in action and spoke with your commander, who told us there are only 3 women serving in the Special Rapid Response Unit here in Petropavl. The rest are men. How did your male colleagues react when you returned from Dubai? With applause. Seriously, yes. They actually clapped. They did. In the barracks. Now outside. I walked in and they were waiting with flowers and a banner congratulating me on the victory. It was such a great moment. Given that you're part of a mostly male team, do you feel there's a different attitude toward women in the Special Rapid Response Unit? Or are you treated just like any other colleague? Not really. I mean, sure, in some ways, those boundaries are still there. We're women, they're men. But when it comes to the job itself, we all do the same work. If there's a position to take up, we take it. If there's an operation and we're told to go, we go. Rain or shine, day or night, it's the job. It's not up for debate. So no one's ever like, Tanya, you wait in the car, it's raining out. No, never. We work side by side with the man. That's just the kind of unit we are.